The podcast you're about to hear involves true stories, which may contain graphic content that is not suitable for children. Listener's discretion is advised. This is Esoteric Oddities.
Who do you think you are? I am.
I thought that was like the thing.
It's not.
The full saying. Then where did he get it from?
It's not
He
a
just
saying.
made it up.
It's literally not a saying.
Who do you think you are?
That's
is
it.
A saying.
That's it. Yeah.
No.
I am is like a statement that is separate.
Why did he make that up?
I think he was just really excited. If you guys don't know what we're talking about, do yourself a favor and Google who do you think you are? I am. Hello.
Are you good, little
Was that the
mama?
cat?
Yeah, she's irked. She's not having it. Maybe it wasn't the cat.
Oh shit. My house is
Probably
haunted,
not.
y'all.
Google, who do you think you are? I am. And it's going to be someone bowling. So click that.
It's not going to be someone bowling. It's going to be
A guy.
a hero. Not all heroes wear capes.
They
Some of
don't.
them wear reusable shoes at a bowling alley.
Ew. So I heard something today, actually, and I need to share it with you guys.
Wait, by the way, hi, we're back. Sorry we missed you last week. Sorry, go ahead, share.
Wow.
We missed you.
We sure did.
Did you miss us?
Creepy smile.
Mm.
The saying is, tickle my fantasy.
Oh, we got another egg corn.
Does anyone think that it's tickle my fantasy? Because it's tickle my fancy.
I want to know who said that.
It was this girl I work with, her friend, said this really tickles my fantasy.
Did she go along with it? Like, yep, that's what it is.
Well, according to her now, that's what she says. Like, on purpose, because she, like...
Oh, because it's a joke?
Yeah.
I mean, I guess it could be, like, sexual. Like, oh, that really tickles my fantasy. That's not hot.
It's fancy.
Yeah.
See, I'm getting confused.
Tickles my fancy, but, like, that verbatim, that really doesn't make any sense. It tickles my fancy.
That makes sense. You mean fantasy doesn't make sense? I really need to stop chewing this gum.
Spit it out, girl.
Uh-uh.
You know what I hated? When teachers were like, no gum in my class. Like, damn.
Why? Like, is me chewing, like...
Unless there's, like, an issue with people sticking gum,
No,
like,
it's
on the
'cause
desks and shit.
People pop their gum and they stick it under the desk. They never, ever swallow it. I used to swallow my gum all the time.
My brother told me it would be in my system for 7 years. And literally...
It probably is.
I got, like, a lot going on in my... That's
I'm
probably...
all fucking jumbled.
Listen, if I want to fucking enjoy a slice of bubblicious gum, can I do it without your fucking... I got in trouble. That choir teacher, here
That
we are
nasty
again.
ass beer.
That girl, that choir teacher who lied to me, we talked about a couple episodes ago.
Yeah.
If you listen into this, what's up, Miss Hawes?
Yikes.
Coming for you.
You came for her.
But she made me stand out in the hallway because I was chewing gum. She did not even let me sit in the hallway. She came out to make sure I was standing.
How many times did she come out?
I don't know.
Too much time on
Right?
her
Like, she's
hands.
disrupting the class more than I am. Fuck. Oh, I was going to not curse in this. Starting now.
Cut it out.
Cut it out. Hi, but I'm a little bit older now. Do I sound older? Do you guys notice anything?
Guys, Jonathan's birthday was February 18th.
Yeah.
His Aquarius ass.
My Aquarius. Pisces ass. I'm on the cusp.
I don't see Pisces at all.
I know. Because you don't see what's happening up here.
Yeah, but Pisces, aren't they like kind of emotional?
I have like maybe 50% of the shit that like Pisces have.
Okay, I guess
I'm mostly
that's like
Aquarius.
what cusp would be.
I suppose.
I'm like a Leo through and through. Like I am 100% a Leo.
Leonardo
DiCaprio.
da Vinci.
I think it was Kiko. Kiko assumed that he was a Leo because his name was Leo, and she was really upset when she found out he wasn't a Leo.
What is he?
I think
Capricorn?
I think he's a Capricorn. I think so.
Maybe he's an eggcorn.
Or a Gemini or something weird like that.
For my birthday, I went to Beacon, New York, and it was fun. And I climbed a mountain. I hiked a mountain, y'all. I hiked.
What did you wear?
What did I wear? Oh, I wore... I definitely should have like not cared what I looked like. I wanted to look cute because we were going to take pictures, and then I had my mom's old Minolta film camera, loaded it, took a couple pictures before we left, worked perfectly. We start walking like up the stairs to get to the fucking mountain. No, to like the mountain, and the film jams. So I'm
why?
like,
Because it's old.
I guess. I didn't want to open it because if I opened it, it would like fucking ruin the film. So whatever. I was just uncomfortable. But it took like maybe an hour and a half to walk up the whole thing. It was very symbolic. We got to one, like, of course we're, you know, in nature talking about life and, you know, how I love
life.
to talk about emotions and getting deep and shit. And
I hate emotions.
literally, I'm telling Jason, I'm like, we got to a point where there was ice everywhere, and it was a lot of ice when we were really high up in like a big incline, and this family was walking down and one of the guys slipped.
Nope.
Another girl like caught him, but I was like, oh my God, this is like, I don't know if I can do this. I'm not trying to like walk all the way up here and like fall all the way down. And Jason's like, no, we can do it. Like, come on, I'll help you. So he naturally walks across the ice like it's nothing. Gets to the other side, like helps me over it after I was like, we stood there for maybe like 8 minutes, like contemplating. I was like, we can just turn around. We can just go back.
He was like not having it.
All I wanted to do, because when you get to the top, there's like an abandoned, I don't even know what you would call it. It's like a house. It was like a wheelhouse. So it would like pull a fucking like cart or some shit up the mountain that was on rails. And there was at one point in like the 1800s or before that, maybe there was like a casino at the top.
Oh, wow.
And now, I mean, it's gone, but like it's like concrete. So like that's where people like walk all the way to the top of the mountain to get to the thing. So that's all I really wanted to do.
How did people get there?
By the grace of God, I don't know. I got there, but like, so 8 minutes after being like, I don't know if I can do it. I don't know if I want to like, it's too hard. I don't want to slip on the ice. It's scary. So Jason helps me over, and God damn it, it was fucking symbolic as fuck, because maybe 2 seconds later we were at the top of the mountain and he's like, see, like
What
we're
did he
almost
say?
at
What
the
was
top.
that?
And you know, you were scared and I was there to help you. I was like, God fucking damn it.
Stop it.
And
Stop
then
being corny.
Miley Cyrus's The Climb started playing in the distance. I swear to God, I heard it. No,
See,
but
this is
it was nice. And then we got up there and there was actually a shit ton of people up there and dogs. I was like, how'd y'all get your dogs up here?
dogs.
And kids. I was like,
Ooh.
ooh, how? But then we're about to walk down and there's 3 Spanish guys. They're like older. They have to be in like their late 60s. If you're in your late 60s, you're not old. I'm just saying older. They're walking and the dude in the back, like they're speaking Spanish to each other. So I don't know what's happening, but it was like we were crossing each other's paths. So I kind of moved over to the side and the guy stops and he like looks at me and he's just like, man, like I'm out of breath, but I'm out here doing it. I was like, yeah, you're literally almost at the top. You're like 2 minutes away. He's just like, they told me I wasn't going to make it. I just got over lung disease. And I like,
stop.
I know. I was like, oh shit, this is like a meaningful fucking trip.
This sure is. It's like a trip of life.
Yeah. And then it was emotional.
Did you cry?
I don't know. It was all a blur. It might have been the tears in my eyes, but
I'm not crying. There's something in my eye. I promise.
It's just raining on my face. Like no, but it was fun. And then I came home on my birthday, which was the following day, and fucking Sarah shows up out of the goddamn blue.
I gave him a little surprise.
It was a lap dance and $4.
Yep, because I'm a broke bitch. So me, Kiko, and Jonathan have been friends for about 6 years. I've known Kiko as long as I've known Jonathan. So we have these other 2 friends that we used to hang out with, and they were in town. So I brought everyone to Jonathan's as a surprise for his birthday, and we had a little 6-year reunion with everyone, and we all got fucked up, and it was fun.
It was really fun.
That was really, really aggressive.
Fuck that.
But it was really, really fun. I had a good time.
I had a really good time, from what I recall.
Yeah, you passed out on the couch.
We all were out by like 8.
I wasn't.
Oh, well.
We were up. You were down.
I was down.
It was like as soon as we made that trip to Wawa.
Yep.
Why did we walk there?
Because none of us could drive.
That's true.
So with that being said, totally off topic, our topic is psychics.
Ooh.
Who predicted things that came true.
Ooh. Sorry.
But before we get started, if you guys would like to help support the show, head on over to patreon.com/esoteric oddities. The smallest amount helps us a lot. What's that saying?
Help me, I'm poor.
I love that. Abraham Lincoln, 1942. That's when that was said. So psychics. That's so Sarah.
Oh my God, I forgot that Sarah was a psychic. So I'm gonna start with a little personal story of mine.
Okay.
So in 2013, my cousin took his own life. My aunt and my cousin, which is his brother, found him. And my uncle was at work, so he wasn't there. So a couple weeks after that, these psychics were calling my aunt.
Did she know that?
No. They were random, like she didn't know these people, and they would say things like, your son wants me to get a hold of you. He wants you to know that he's sorry. He wants you and Ryan to know that he's sorry. And my aunt was like, oh, well, what about his dad? And the psychic was like, he wasn't there.
Oh, shit.
And, like, these were, like, people that were coming out of the blue to talk to my aunt.
How would they have known that?
I'm saying.
And they weren't, like, benefiting in any way?
No.
You never told me that before.
I know.
That's crazy.
I remember we were at a family reunion, and my aunt told me this, and I was like, this is so crazy. I picked a person like this because I feel like people who don't predict things like, you know, like world news or natural disasters are, like, uncredible to people.
Right.
I mean, and I feel like that's what everyone thinks.
Right.
I don't think that's true. So I did a story on a psychic like the ones that helped my aunt, and I didn't want people to be like, well, there's like really no sources, or there's no, because this person is just saying this happens.
Right.
But I have a story that backs it, that there are people who
absolutely,
you know, have this ability, and it's not always like they can predict natural disasters, but just because they can't do that doesn't mean that it's not real.
So it's like, okay, real quick before we start, I opened up my dictionary upstairs on my shelf.
Whoa, it's dusty, right?
Yeah. And so psychics, it's an adjective, and it is relating to or denoting faculties or phenomena that are apparently inexplicable by natural laws, especially involving telepathy or clairvoyance. And to that, I would like to challenge the definition of natural law, but that's okay. And then there is psychic, the noun, person, place, or thing. And it is a person considered or claiming to have psychic powers, also known as a medium. And I think it's really interesting that in the definition it says considered or claiming, you know, because they're like just
claiming.
Like, yeah. But
it's alleged.
It's all alleged. But I mean, with that being said, of course there's scam artists out there, you know, people for something like for having like a psychic ability, a lot of it is you can't
it's like coincidence.
Prove it necessarily. Right. And of course people are gonna, you know, rip you off when they can, but I think that our existence is on multiple I guess you can call it dimensions or planes, like different planes, and that certain people have the ability to, you know, see into those other planes, either into another world, like the world of the afterlife, what have you, the spirit world,
what have you. But I feel like there are a lot of people, they say that we only use half of our senses anyway. I feel like there are just people that learned how to like tap into it. Yeah. Or it's just like not closed.
Yeah, no, I totally agree.
And I feel like the media brainwashes us to close those certain
senses. 100%, because like the human like mind, we don't understand.
It's like the ocean, honestly.
Yeah,
like, there's
it's
so many
wet,
untold things that
spongy.
Yeah.
A lot of shit going on in there.
Yeah.
And, you know, like you said, we're like capable a lot more of than what we're told or programmed, to that we're capable of. So any sort of like psychic ability, unexplainable phenomena, or like magical possibilities, that's magic with a K, look it up. It's so easy for like another party or another person, or like say anybody who's an adult, to be like, you childish, like shut the fuck up, or explain it away with science. Do you know what I mean? And like you get shit for being naive when we're just woke as fuck. Y'all still sleep, hitting that snooze button.
Right, wake up.
Which makes sense. Back to saying what you were saying, like, you know, news outlets and things. This is making us sound like super paranoid, but just like
it is, because I was writing this and I was like, this sounds it doesn't sound credible, and I know there are skeptics out there, and that's that's what kind of aided me to tell the story about my cousin before I went into my story.
And absolutely. And I totally invite people to be like skeptical, but like hear the other side out, because I feel like, I don't know if I would say I'm a skeptic, but I I will not, if somebody says they're psychic, I will assess the situation
Right.
in my head and
Right.
see if they're like a con artist or not. And like, again, that makes sense because if like everyone in the world harbored the power of their own mind, then the elite would, fall at some time
They would
because
fizzle
they're,
out.
being outnumbered. So we just stay distracted, stay tired, stay our 9 to 5 to stay alive. And
I hate 9 to 5.
that's just another topic for another time. The law of attraction, look it up.
Please, The Secret. I would read the book. Maybe not the movie. The book is a lot better.
But I definitely believe.
Same. Let's jump into this.
Okay.
So this Woodstock psychic has around 500 clients. The 53-year-old claims she has seen spirits of the dead since she was a child. She tried to ignore her calling to be a psychic after witnessing terrifying visions of the dead trying to communicate with her living relatives and getting glimpses of
Anomalies?
No, it's inanimate.
Inanimate?
Like objects.
Okay.
But is that it? Inanimate.
I don't know. I don't.
But
What was the
after
sentence?
spending years...
Wait, say that again.
Okay. She tried ignoring her calling to be a psychic after witnessing terrifying visions of the dead trying to communicate with their living relatives and getting glimpses of inanimate disasters.
Wait, I don't think that's the
can't
right
say
word.
It is.
Copy and paste it into thesaurus and see what else it comes up for. Because inanimate disasters, that doesn't make sense. Like a toaster is an inanimate object. Unless we're talking about the brave little toaster, then that bitch is animate as fuck.
Imminent. Please hold. Close, approaching, coming, on the way.
Oh, so it's not inanimate.
It's imminent.
Okay. Word of the day. You guys, now you know the definition. Go ahead. Use it freely. That sounded like I didn't finish my thought. Freely.
Right.
There we go.
Freely. Am I saying the sentence over?
Fucking just go for it. I don't care. I'm not editing any of that out.
Why?
Because this is real. This is me.
Wow.
I'm exactly
Fuck you,
where I'm
Miley
supposed
Cyrus.
to be. That was Demi Lovato.
Oh, okay. Anyway, she had no power to stop. But after spending years trying to downplay her premonitions, she's now embraced them. Doing her readings out of her Woodstock shop, this psychic is Susan Sackman.
Ooh, that's almost Susan Sarandon. And that's crazy because I was going to do her.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, she changes her name every year, so her name isn't even Susan Saxman.
She changes it every year?
Every so often, she says that she like takes on different names because I guess when she started this, she like didn't want people to find her, and everyone kept finding out about her powers, and they would like find her out of nowhere. So she tried to like change her name so people wouldn't find her.
I wish I was relevant enough to have to fucking change my name like that.
I'm saying. She says, I'm not sorry. I am not sure that I am in fact a psychic. When she was asked by Vanity Fair to predict this year's Oscar winners. Stupid. My thing is communicating with people on the other side, but communications are quite specific. Like, people do that all the time. They'll ask, like, psychics to...
Right.
Like, be like, okay, well, who's gonna win? Like, that, it doesn't...
Let me just tap right into that.
It's not...
Like,
This,
guys,
not that.
if you learn anything from Raven, from That's So Raven, which was clearly a realistic show, she didn't pick when it was going to happen.
Yeah, she just did that face, and it was on .com.
Fucking
I'm, like, not okay. I don't know if you noticed.
we've all noticed.
Kicking here. Saxman believes that it was her isolated childhood and sickness that started her visions early. I think they both spurred something in my head. My mother was having an affair with a homeless man, and my father was always in front of a TV. No one paid attention to me, and when they did, they were scared of me and said, "Why don't you just be normal?"
I'm sorry.
A homeless man. Yes.
You already
heard that correct.
Okay, so her mom's just like, here's my husband who's watching TV because he has a TV. And I'm just going to head on down to the corner of Chestnut and Locust, and I'm going to become Blowy Chloe. And I'm going to, hang out with
Blowy Chloe. I love that.
Hang out with that guy who, tries to get money. And if you give him food, he gets pissed because he's really just trying to use the money.
For drugs.
Or Subway tokens. One time I gave a homeless man, I went into 7-Eleven and I bought him like food. I got him a banana. I bought him a water bottle. I got him like granola bars. Like I set him up for like at least the rest of the day. And I came out and he was pissed at me because I didn't give him a Subway token, because then he was going to take the Subway tokens, try to sell it to some fucking froshies who don't understand how the city works. Then he was going to take their money, and then he was going to go, because that's what they do. Not all of them, but most of them, because like people aren't willing to give money. But if they say like, hey, I want a Subway token so I can get from point A to point B, people will be like, okay, well, they're not going to get drugs with a Subway token. Au contraire. I have given personally a handy in the behind a Burger King for a Subway token.
You?
No, I'm kidding.
Oh, I was like, are you okay? Like, you are really bold right now. I once gave a homeless man, I was bringing pizza home, and I had 2 slices. And this man was begging. And I was like, oh, fuck. I have these 2 slices of pizza. I'm like 4'10". I weigh like literally 100 pounds soaking wet. Like, I have to give it away. So I gave him a slice of pizza, and he says, I wasn't looking for food. I was like, okay, well, you can keep that, you grimy son of a bitch. You
tell him. I would, I would fucking fart on him and walk away. That's what you got to do, the fart and walk, the old fart and walk.
I can't believe that happened to me. From the man in a black hat who appeared at the foot of her bed every night to the visions of her mother as a child, throwing a conch shell at her sister's head, the family didn't know what was going on in Susan's mind. Isn't that so funny? I was cracking
Wait,
up.
She threw a conch shell?
Her mom threw a conch shell at her sister. But the family thought she was weird because she knew that, and everyone's like, how did you know that? Type shit.
Who knew? Wait, huh? She knew that her mom threw a conch shell at her sister's
head.
Maybe it was from the fucking stitches her sister had to get.
But like, conch shell is really specific. Why are you being so,
maybe her sister told her. I would have to hear her tell that story because I don't understand that.
She had visions of her mother as a child throwing a conch shell at her sister's head.
Oh, wait. Okay, wait. Her mom's sister?
Yes.
Oh, so her aunt.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. Not.
Fucking blowy Chloe out here throwing conch shells around. I said listen to the ocean.
The homeless man, Steve, would arrive as her father drove off to work, and Susan would be the lookout, hiding Steve in her closet if her father returned home unexpectedly.
Oh my God, how old was she?
It doesn't say.
Oh my God.
She said, I never had a friend over, never went to a party. I fell into books and lived in a whole other world. I didn't feel like I belonged anywhere. She later says that so she moved to Woodstock and she felt like she belonged there.
That's in New York?
I think so.
Wait, Woodstock? Oh wait, hold on, wait. There's more than one Woods. Is she from the UK?
No, she is from the U.S. So, her and her husband moved to New Jersey, and then they moved to Woodstock.
Oh, because in Illinois there's a Woodstock. It's actually where they filmed the Groundhog's Day. Because that was the movie theater I would go to. Guess how much the movie tickets were in that movie theater that they filmed Groundhog's Day at?
$400.
No, they were $3 for a ticket.
Oh, it's cute.
Yeah, and it was like a nice, cute little theater. They had urinal cakes, so they meant business. Hey, when they put ice in the fucking urinals as if it's going to do anything when you pee on them.
It is Woodstock, New York.
Okay, cool.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry, we're a little all over the place, but I'm also not sorry.
I'm never sorry. Susan's career began at a Renaissance festival where she impulsively offered to take place of the missing gypsy fortune teller. Despite having no experience as a reader, as each customer sat down, and the words poured from her mouth describing complete strangers, their dead spouses and relatives. So I guess this is when she found out that she was actually
she
psychic.
Knew shit.
Yeah, and she was like, I don't know these people. How do I know this?
Right.
She says, Paul doesn't want to be in your house anymore. He's ashamed. He said he's got to go. And I guess the woman who she was reading said, how do you know that? You can't know that. That's my brother-in-law. He's dead. His ashes are in an urn in the living room. He doesn't want to be there. He's an awful drunk. He wants to go. Find a place for him to go. Just imagine that. Also, it's kind of mean.
Yeah.
I guess that's how it is. Like, you're straight to the point because you literally have these dead people talking to you. I would kind of be like that too.
Yeah, I'd be like, all right, Paul's up to bat. All right, Paul, what do you want?
But I could see how people think this is not credible. Yeah, it's like, oh, this woman can just be saying that. I understand, but it's it's real.
Yeah. Literally, that's so crazy. I can hardly I can't even believe it. I've been watching too much of the Kardashians.
Yeah,
Maybe that's why I
down.
said blowy Chloe.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
This kickstarted Susan's career. She started readings at festivals. Susan often feels overwhelmed by the needs of the people who come to her and the intensity of her interactions with the dead. I would imagine that's like really, really hard on your like mental.
Yeah, I feel like it would probably be like draining emotionally, but like it's just a lot of energy.
I am full of self-doubt, she admits. I don't have the confidence to feel worthy of giving advice. I don't even drive a car. I don't even feel capable of doing what's expected of me. But when I sit down at the table, I can do it. Like, this is someone who literally doesn't even want to be psychic. She just is.
Mm-hmm.
Susan and her husband David opened the White Graffin store that's in Woodstock, New York.
Okay.
It sells punk and gothic clothing.
Awesome.
Susan says, I changed my name as I do every decade. I took the name of my cat Fiona thinking people wouldn't be able to find me, but I put a sign up saying I would do animal psychic readings.
She could talk to animals too.
Everything.
Wow.
So, as an animal lover, she found animal readings much simpler than humans. She advised the owner if the pet's food needed changing or explained that the dog didn't like the new cat, but she'd also deliver messages like, this animal's missing a dark-haired man that doesn't come around anymore, and the owner would say, like, oh, that's Uncle John, he died.
Oh, that's so sad.
Yeah.
Do you think she could just like hang out with her cat and just like talk to it?
Probably. That's probably why they're so close.
Oh, that's so cute. I
would
talk to my
die
cat
to
sometimes.
talk to my cat, okay?
My cat, I'm convinced, is an alien and probably wants to know why the fuck I do half the stuff that I do.
What are you doing, human?
Exactly.
So this is these are like samples of some of Susan's readings. The moment this woman walked into my room, I wanted to vomit. Sometimes I'll feel the
Shit, I felt that too.
Right. Sometimes I'll feel the pull of someone's arthritis or the dull pounding of a headache, but this was an overwhelming sensation. I was going to throw up. I put my hand over my mouth and tried to keep it together. How are you feeling? She asked the woman, and I guess the woman said, terrific. But I could see a black, hideous energy over her entire body, and she thinks, was it AIDS? Is it cancer? Was it catching? And she says to the woman, I think you need a doctor. And the woman said, I take supplements. I'm in great health. And then Susan advised the woman to go get a checkup. And the woman told her no, that she feels fine. And I guess a few months later, she saw her in the obituary.
Oh, Susan.
Right.
Listen to Susan. Did she say why she died, though?
No, she just said that she saw her obituary in the paper.
Hmm.
And here's another one. These are all quoted, so I'm not really sure like if I should quote them directly to her or...
Do whatever you feel like.
Okay. I was getting ready for a reading when an unexpected woman showed up at my shop, eager for advice. She didn't have an appointment. She was in a terrible hurry, and didn't have time to come into my room, Saxman writes in her memoir. I just want to know if I should take this job or not. Surely you can do that without sitting me down. Do you know someone called Howard? She asked. The woman shook her head. All I can see is Howard. He's right beside you. He's not happy at all. And the woman said, Howard, looking confused, obviously, because who dat? I don't know what you're talking about. I don't know anyone called Howard. And Susan says, I'm sorry. Maybe you should make an appointment and come when you're not so rushed. All I can see is Howard. A few minutes later, when her scheduled client shows up, Howard returned. Do you know Howard in a button-down sweater? That's my father, the woman explained. He's wearing the green cardigan. He never took it off. We buried him in it.
Wait, this was another woman?
Yeah.
This was the woman who was going to come later.
Yeah.
And Howie was like, I know this is...
Yeah.
Oh, so then that woman who came in was just...
Yeah. The guy named Howard was for the next woman for the scheduled appointment.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah. But I guess... I don't know.
He just showed up when the rushed lady came in.
Right. But it's so weird because it's like, I picture it, like, do they say anything? Like, why they're there or who they need? It just seems
I
like
don't
they,
think
like,
it's
stare.
that. I don't think it's that direct. I think a
Yeah.
lot, from what I'm gathering, according to my research.
So she says, Howard knew my schedule. He knew this other woman was taking his daughter's spot, and he wasn't happy about it. Sometimes I think the dead are more eager for my readings than the living.
Probably. They're like,
I need to get there. And that's the story of Susan Saxman.
we should go see her.
We should.
That'd be cool.
You know the Hood Witch is coming to New York?
Yeah, I saw that.
I really want to go.
If you're listening to this, hey. There actually is a possibility she is, because she did comment and
Hi.
say she wanted to listen.
No, she's, I don't know why I said that. I thought you meant, like, she's not going to New York, and I was like, no, she posted it.
No. That's so interesting. So she's a psychic medium.
Yeah, she's more of a
I
medium.
wonder if those kind of go hand in hand.
I think they do,
I think
right?
they do.
Because isn't psychic, like, you...
Just see into other realms.
Right.
That
Because isn't it, like, places or events?
I think it's all relative. I think
Yeah.
it probably varies person to person. Because I know, like, the Long Island medium,
Teresa
she's
Caputo.
just like a medium.
Right.
You know, she
Yeah.
doesn't see into the futuro.
That was really funny.
Why do you still have you have your chewing gum under your fake ass acrylic nail?
It's not under my acrylic nail. It's on my real finger. And because I want to chew it, but I can't chew it into the microphone, I could just be like, "Who is it? Violet? No. Who's?
Yeah, Violet Beauregard.
No, it wasn't Violet. It was
Yeah, it was.
the blonde.
No.
Violet had brown hair.
Veruca Salt.
Yeah.
No, it
No.
wasn't. It was Violet who put it behind her ear. She was the gum chewer because she turned into the blueberry because she chewed the gum.
Oh, right. Well, who's the blonde?
There is no blonde.
Yes, there is.
In the old one or the new one?
The old one. The old one was the blonde girl.
There's no blonde girl in the old
And
one.
she-
It's Violet and Veruca.
Are you good?
I'm perfectly fine. I just know what the frick I'm talking about.
What the frick?
You just spiked a level so bad. Sorry, headphone wearers.
Well, you said that I don't speak loud enough. So here I am to tell you that I do.
Jesus. All right. So here I go. I have two. My second one's like a little, it's short, but my first one is Baba Vanga.
Ooh.
Ooh.
I've heard of her.
All right. I'm going to try not to butcher her name. Vangelia Pandeva Dimitrova. Okay.
That
Nicknamed
sounds like a
Vanga.
spell.
Yeah. So nicknamed Vanga. So I'm going to call her Vanga. She was born in 1911 in Bulgaria. Technically in 1911, it was the Ottoman Empire. But the following year, I think it was Bulgaria. So I said Bulgaria just to simplify it. But now that I'm explaining it, there was no use in simplifying it. So she was born in 1911.
It's okay. Welcome.
In the Ottoman Empire. She was a premature baby who suffered a few health complications. When she was 3 years old, I read some story that like they didn't name her for a little while because they didn't know if she was going to survive, and they like ran out on this. Why does your hair keep getting caught in that chair?
I think someone's pulling it. I swear. It keeps getting caught in nothing.
I bet it's Baba Vanga.
Hi, boo.
And so the story is like the nurse went out on the street and like asked somebody who was walking by to name her, and she was just like
Baba Vanga.
unpronounceable. No, that's her nickname. Okay, so
Is her nickname Baba or is it Baba Vanga?
Vanga. The Baba is
Oh, the first name.
no, Baba. I think it's a nickname. I think it's mom or like grandma or something.
Oh, okay.
So I just looked it up. I'm not going to pretend like I know exactly what the hell it is, but it's just saying it's like an honorific kind of thing. So it's like a respect thing, I suppose. So I'll be calling her Vanga. Now that that's out of the way, when she was 3 years old, her father was an internal Macedonian Revolutionary Organization activist, and he was enlisted in the Bulgarian army during World War I, and her biological mother died soon after. So basically, Vanga, at that age, she depended on the care and charity of her neighbors and close family and friends for most of her youth. Then after the war, when did World War I end?
Oh, God. I don't know. I'm not going to.
1917? 1918. When did World War I end? This is all shit I should have done. November
This is all shit we should know for
1918. See, I did know that. My history teacher was hot, so I was a little distracted. He wore
You and me both.
pleated chinos. Had a nice ass.
Jason, Orlando, if you're out there, find me.
All right. So When the war ended, she would have been 7, and her father emigrated from Bulgaria to Serbia, where the Serbian authorities arrested him because of his pro-Bulgarian activity, and then basically they confiscated all his property, and the family fell into poverty for many years. Vanga was considered intelligent for her age. Her childhood was seemingly ordinary. She really enjoyed playing this game called Healing, where she would prescribe some herbs and flowers to her friends who would pretend to be ill. That would come up in her later in life, in adulthood. So again, when she was 7, her widowed father remarried, and she had a stepmother who she seemed to get along with. And according to her own testimony, a turning point in her life occurred when a tornado lifted her into the air and threw her into a nearby field. For some reason, as a child, I had such a fear of this. I think it was the Wizard of Oz that put it in my head.
Yes.
Also, I
totally know what you mean.
I lived in like the flatlands of Illinois where we would have tornado warnings all the time. But like I really thought at some point in my life that would be me fucking up there with a goddamn cow like in Twister. And it would just like I remember I went to Universal and they had this all it is literally you stand in a room and there's a stage, and on the stage they like make it seem like disasters are happening. So I know there's a ride you can do when you're in like a subway station and there's like a flood. Yeah, so it's crazy. But the one that I went to was a Twister, and it was like too fucking real for me. So I was like, no. Like they had a car on the stage. I remember it started like it was probably on like some hydraulic thing, but also I had been in first grade.
So it's like, what's that?
And it like started like lifting up in the air, and they had like wind machines when we were in there. And I was like, if that can do that shit to that, what's it going to do to my first grade ass?
I'm saying.
I got school on Monday. Gotta go. And I logged off. Where was I? How did we get here?
I don't know. How do we get anywhere? I feel like all of our episodes have been literally.
Welcome to the inside of my fucking brain.
Honestly, same.
So yeah, she was lifted up by a tornado, threw into a nearby field, and police authorities and neighbors were searching for her. She was found after a long search, and her eyes were covered with sand and dust, probably specks of metal and bullshit, and she was unable to open her eyes because of the pain. Her family had money for a partial operation to heal the injuries she had sustained, which resulted in the loss of her eyesight at age 12. So she's blind, age 12. In 1925, she was brought to a school for the blind in the city of Zeeman, not Seaman, where she spent 3 years and was taught to read Braille, play the piano. She was also introduced to knitting, cooking, and cleaning. And after the death of her stepmother, she was 18 years old. Vanga was sent back home. Well, I don't know if she was sent back home or if she chose to go back home, but she pretty much had to go back home to take care of her younger siblings, who her father had with her stepmother. And at this point, her family was extremely poor, and basically she had to work all day. I don't know the ages of her siblings or how much younger they were, but I was getting the gist that she was 18 and everybody else was like a lot younger. So she, had to put in the work and yeah. So this was also the period when unusual events began to happen. She often stated that she would have dreams and she would hear voices and have visions. She would talk to the dead and plants, and ultimately she would predict events, most of which came true with extreme accuracy. In 1939, Vanga contracted pleurisy, although it remained inactive for most of her life. The doctor's opinion was that she would die soon, but, she quickly recovered. It has something to do with your lungs. I think it's like an inflammation, or I'm not exactly sure. So then during World War II, which started... 1964?
You were really, putting it on me to remember that date that you said? What?
No, World War II.
Oh, still don't know.
1939. I just said the date. So,
so it was 19.
You said 1964.
I got the 19 right. Okay. Let's.
You got the century right.
A little at a time here. Okay.
Oh my God. Okay. You didn't say 2001, which thank God for that. So during World War II, Vanga attracted believers in her ability to heal and predict the future. So a number of people visited her, hoping to get a hint on whether their relatives were alive. They were seeking the place where they died because the war was going on. So the family members of people who were in the war who hadn't heard from them for a while, they were just like, "Hey girl, what's up? Cousin Johnny, he good or no? Haven't heard from him for a while. He's been inactive. His away message is still up. Just want to know what's good.
He's idle.
On April... God, you shouldn't be laughing. On April 8th, 1942, the Bulgarian Tsar Boris III visited her. He was really hot.
Really?
No, I have no idea what he looked like. So then May 10th, 1942, she married this guy. His name was Dmitriar Gushtirov. He was a Bulgarian soldier who came asking for the killers of his brother, but had promised her that if, she told him, he wouldn't go seek revenge. She was like, okay, well, this was so-and-so. He didn't seek revenge, but shortly before their marriage, the two of them were so in love, they moved to Petrich, where she soon became well known. And this is kind of where she stuck around for the rest of her life. Her husband, unfortunately, fell ill in 1947. Remember, they met in 1942. He became an alcoholic and eventually died on April 1st, 1962. What an April Fool's joke.
Oh.
She continued to be visited by people. And after the Second World War, Bulgarian politicians and leaders from different Soviet republics, started to come to her. And they were like, hey, girl, what's good? So, people who were, really high up started, coming to her.
Right.
I'll tell you in a second, what the type of stuff she was saying. So, is your hair good? Do you need conditioner? Because I'm actually stressing out.
It's because it's so windy today. All it did was just flap around in the wind. So now it's super naughty. Naughty.
Okay. ASMR. I heard that.
Help me.
It sounded like someone cracking their knuckles.
What's ASMR?
You don't know what ASMR is?
No.
Oh, baby.
What is that?
We got a lot to talk about after this. It's when people whisper into the microphone and they're like, so today we're gonna go out to the... You don't know what that is?
No, why do they call it that?
It's a fucking...
sudden murmur repeated. ASMR.
See, you knew it all along.
Continue, please.
No, but it's this thing that some people have, some people don't have it, but you actually get stimulated. You get goosebumps and some people
no, see, that would irk the shit out of me.
Hair on
Don't
their arms.
whisper in my ear ever.
The people who have it, they really like it. So have you never seen those videos where people eat into a microphone and it's really crunchy pickles are that shit?
Stop.
I don't have ASMR, but if a pickle's got a good crunch.
You know who has ASMR?
Who?
That was so crazy. I can't wait to tell her she has ASMR. We were talking about this. And she was like, yeah, I like videos of people eating. And I'm like, why?
Well, is it people eating? Because there's mukbangs and then
No. It's where people they
crunch into the microphone.
I think that's the same thing.
How did we get here? Anyway. Oh, shit.
God, okay.
So Vanga stated that she was able to talk to people who died hundreds of years ago. According to her, after 200 years from when she was saying this, people will make contact with aliens from another world. In her words, there were already many aliens who lived on Earth. They've been living here for many years. We just haven't noticed them. Sarah, reptilians? ?
I'm saying they are real, y'all. So anyone who ever doubted me, take a peek.
Also, fucking Benedict Cumberbatch. I'm sorry.
Stop.
He looks like Kif from Futurama 1. 2, his name, I'm sorry, but it sounds like some alien up there had a generator. They were like, this is going to generate a human name.
It's so funny you say
fucking
that because
Benedict Cumberbatch.
There was this.
That sounds like a breakfast special.
There was this guy that used to work. I think he worked he was a janitor or something, but he looked like Professor Zoidberg, and no one believed me. And he was like, they were like, how do you look like him? And I was like, I don't know, but if he was a person, a real person, that's what he would look like.
Did he do that? Did he scuttle away?
No, but I don't know, just his face, he literally looks like Professor Zoidberg, human form.
Okay, so Vanga, she was recognized by many as a natural healer. She would use herbal and natural medicines, and according to her, people should use herbs and spices from the country that they are from. She said that some of her prescriptions included washing with an infusion of herbs and spices that did not produce beneficial... However, that did not produce beneficial results for many, but she said that because those people had been taking modern medicines for so long, it was closing doors. So think about it. Think about how many people like take prescribed medication. Y'all are zombies. Y'all are sheep.
Yeah, I know.
Y'all are zombies.
No, for real, because
anybody can put whatever they want into those drugs.
Healing is like a natural thing.
Right, and just control your mind.
I'm saying.
So, you know, that's still around today. And actually her remedies and her recipes are on a website, which I looked up. She has like a ton. So if you have like a sore throat or a wart on the bottom of your foot, go ahead and look it up. So she's got some remedies for you. Can you stop? You're stressing me out.
I can't stop. I can't stop.
So
not until all these knots are out.
We're going to be here for a while, y'all. It's the extended episode. Before she died, Vanga said that a girl who was living in France at the age of 10 would inherit her fortune-telling gift. And I'm assuming how she was a medium and stuff. She would just kind of absorb her powers. And people around the world would eventually hear about her. So, unfortunately, Vanga died August 11th, 1966 from breast cancer. Her funeral attracted a large crowd. And fulfilling her last will and testament, her Petridge house was turned into a museum which opened its doors May 5th, 2008. And I believe you can still go there today. So that is her life. Are you ready for some things that she predicted that came true?
Yeah.
So she predicted specifically the date on which Tsar Boris III would die. And he was a Bulgarian king from 1918 to 1943. And she also said she predicted the breakup of Czechoslovakia, the riots of Lebanon in 1968. She predicted that one before it was apparent that it was like going to happen. So before, you know, people could have been like, oh, there's going to be riots sometime soon.
Right.
She said
like
that before that point got there.
Right.
The war in Nicaragua in 1979, the Cyprus conflict in 1973, which I think has something to do with Greeks.
Let's see if you're right.
Yep, the Greeks and the Turkish. Don't know how I knew that. And then she also predicted the election of Indira Gandhi, who was the prime minister of India. She predicted the breakup of the Soviet Union, the breakup of Yugoslavia, the union of East and West Germany, the election of Boris Eltsine, no idea who that is, the nuclear disaster in Chernobyl, the exact date on which Stalin would die.
Oh, God.
The disaster of the Russian Kursk submarine, which didn't happen until 2000. And that shit is fucking terrible. Do you know about it?
What?
The disaster of the Russian submarine. I learned briefly about it. Fuck. If there's something that terrifies me about submarines, one, you're in a giant
Okay, the
tube.
ocean terrifies me, like, regardless, so I'm never just going in there.
Let's just put a bunch of people in this giant capsule and put it underwater and just, like, let them go way deep down there and just, like, hope for the fucking best.
Hope that the pressure isn't gonna, like, push in the fucking windows.
So I don't remember exactly what happened. I should have done my research, but I'm just going to talk about it like I know what happened. But I think like one of them, I think it was a missile. If it wasn't a missile, it was a pipe, but I want to say it was a missile. Something like exploded and caused like a chain reaction within the submarine. And it killed a bunch of people instantly, but it is predicted that, so I think there was like 120 some people, a little bit over 100
How
people,
do you fit that many people
on board. I don't know, like sardines. The sardines in the ocean.
God.
No, it was like massive. They can make big ass shit. You ever seen the Titanic? That boat was pretty big. That could have probably held 118 people.
R.I.P.
But
did it ever sink though?
Oh, you're right. It didn't. Fuck, I forgot about that successful trip of the Titanic.
The Olympic.
Oh, we're not even going to get into that right now. But I think people survived the explosion, but we're locked, like we're stuck in the back of the submarine or something.
Was there like air?
Barely. There was a leak. So they knew what happened. They knew what was going to come of them, and they just had to wait it out.
It's like 47 meters down.
I'm sweating.
Yeah.
I don't like that. I'm uncomfortable, and I'm very moist. She also predicted the conflicts in Syria. She predicted the return of... I'm not even going to try to fucking pronounce it. She predicted a lot of shit, including the terrorist attacks in the United States on September 11th, 2001, she said, quote, "Horror, horror, the American brethren will be attacked when they are hit by steel birds. Much innocent blood will be lost." Now I said quote, but she said it in a different language. So that's like not quite
The
verbatim, but
synopsis
what
of
she said. And people are really skeptical of this, saying,
it's not real.
yeah, steel birds is like a generic term, but
I was going to do her, and this is why I didn't, because it was so
Yeah. She also said, the 44th president of the United States will be a person of color. He will also be the last president. Are you queefing? Because I'm queefing.
Dude, I'm telling you, we all knew that Donald Trump was a reptilian. Donald Trump, you're a reptilian.
Stop. Are you trying to get us fucking
No.
kicked off the planet of the goddamn earth?
I'm not, but we know. We know
No,
your
I don't know
secret.
anything. I don't know anything.
Well, I do. Sarah Simon, I do.
I'm going to have to edit all this out. Please do not email us at odditiespodcast@gmail.com. Shit.
I'm not scared.
She said that, remember, she died in 1996, and she said that after the 44th president, there will be an erosion of political values. How the hell did she know this?
I'm saying, and she didn't call him. She said after the 44th president, she said that would be the last one.
Mm-hmm.
So,
and she said that America will divide, stating everyone will put their hopes in him. She didn't specify who him is.
oh God, the God.
Everyone will put their hopes in him to end it, but the opposite will happen. He will bring the country down, and conflicts between the North and South states will escalate.
Yikes.
I hope she's wrong about that, but here we are.
No,
it's coming
it's
true.
escalating.
So according to this one guy who did a bunch of research, he said about 80% of everything that she predicted in her entire life that was documented has come true. 80%, that's a pretty good rap sheet.
Right. She's got my vote.
Many esoteric books. Oh, he said it 29 episodes in. He said the title of the podcast. Many esoteric books were written by people who were close to her, who like experienced things that weren't quite documented, but they experienced on the daily. So it was like staff members who worked around her, just like people in her daily life who had some shit that they had to say. So many people have like huge names. So according to that same scientist dude who said the 80%, he said the secret of clairvoyance is the ability to be able to follow the cause and effect connection. He says, quote, the world is organized in a way that there are no chances and the future has multiple options. This is an enlightenment, intuition, and something that to one extent to another is inherent to everybody. Take those words as you will and read between the lines. Vanga had a sonar, what she called it, in her brain, and she would often hold a sugar cube in her hand when she was talking to people. Don't know why I didn't mention that earlier, but there we go. Oh, the mac and cheese is done. And it's 4:20.
Blaze it.
So the Vanga, I don't think she ever said this, but the doctor dude looked into it, and he said that the sugar was needed because it was a crystal. Don't know why she didn't just hold a quartz, but
maybe they didn't have it.
I think they did. I think they did. Maybe she didn't have access to it. You're right. Who knows? But the doctor said that, crystals strengthen the effect of clairvoyance. The information is there. You just have to extract it. Now, baby, are you ready for some predictions that have not yet come true because they are in the future or near future? All right. Well, sit down, stand up, clap your hands, touch your heels, touch your toes.
Touch your heels.
Touch your heels, touch your toes. You touched my leg, or you touched my hand, and I like...
You like heels.
I got really nervous.
Good?
You have that power.
I do. I wonder why it doesn't ever work.
If you like it, you should. So she said that peace will last for 1,000 years on Earth. People will realize the existence of the spiritual world.
Here we are.
But like the sooner y'all fucking wake up, the sooner we'll have peace. Wake the fuck up. She said cancer and HIV will be cured from a medicine made from iron. She said around the year 2020, trains will be charged with solar energy. She made that, she actually said that prediction in the early 1970s. And here we are on our way.
2 years.
In 1960, she predicted that around 2018 to 2020, scientists will initiate projects for producing helium-3 energy from space. Bitch, I don't know what the fuck that is, but if it makes my voice high, I can put it in balloons and it's coming from outer space. I'm the fuck here for it. She said around 2050, people will travel to other worlds with a speed 10 times faster of the speed of light. First off, ma'am, how? Don't know if this is going to come true, but also 2050 is a little ways away, but it's not too far away. But do you think that means teleportation?
I hope so.
Yeah, I could get to work so quick if I just did
Get to work. I could get to Thailand so quick. I wouldn't have to pay $1,000 for a plane. You so short-minded. What happened? Wake up. He said I could get to work so easily.
I could get to work so I can...
worried about it?
Oh my God.
Oh my God. Are you okay? Are you sick?
I don't know.
Goes right to work. Like...
So again, she said that, we'll contact 200 years from the year she said it. She said we're going to contact aliens. And I think that was in the 80s. So if my math is correct, which is probably not, that's like 165 years. I'm not going to look that up. I don't care. But she said 200 years from the 1980s, we were going to see if aliens exist. First off, if you're listening to this in the future, hey, how are you? How are things? Hope everything is going great. Do we have ghost chips yet? It's this invention that I've been thinking about. It's like...
Don't say it on air. Keep it to yourself.
No, I can't. It's patent pending. It's like these potato chips or corn chips or chocolate chips.
Wait, are you saying that they're patent...
Patent pending, yeah.
So the potato chips are. So you can't use them?
No, my idea is patent pending. So like if somebody uses it, I can be like, hey, timestamp, this was published on this date and you stole my idea. Ghost chips, copyright, patent pending,
okay.
Trademark.
All right. I guess I got trademark and patent pending confused.
Don't let it happen again. I went to business school and I know how to sell a thing or two. So ghost chips, you put them in your mouth, they dissolve like those Listerine things and like it's 0 calories. So you get all the flavor of chips, the enjoyment of chips, and it's fucking 0 calories.
Do they still crunch?
We haven't gotten to that part yet. I'll look into it.
Let you know. Okay.
But if you're listening to us in the future and you've talked to aliens, please email us at odditiespodcast@gmail.com. People are going to think we're on drugs. Like, I feel like people already think we're on drugs. I didn't even have coffee today because I fucked that up.
I slept a good amount. I went to work. I don't know what's wrong with me. I think I'm slowly losing my mind. Your ghost keeps pulling my hair. Tell him to stop.
It's literally telling you to use fucking conditioner. So
I do use conditioner. It was the fucking wind.
That is Baba Vanga. What do you think?
I love her.
All right, my second one is short, but this is Jemima Packington, the asparagus psychic. Jemima Packington sounds like a fake ass name, doesn't it?
Sure does.
It sounds like someone you make up as a reference if you don't have a reference when you're applying for a job.
I'm using Jemima Packington.
We used to work together at Olive Garden. And Lord and Taylor's. She also sounds like a fucking fictitious character that would be in a kid's storybook. There's Jemima Packington. Sounds like she has a fucking mystical fucking car that she takes people on a trip. I just described Miss Frizzle, I think.
I think so too.
So she is a psychic who tells the future by tossing asparagus spears into the air.
Oh my God, stop. I was going to do her too.
And interpreting how they fall. Love it.
I heard she's really credible though.
Incredible, maybe. Uncredible?
No, she's really credible.
Credible.
She's legit.
A credit.
Even though she uses asparagus. Stop.
No, what were you going to say? What were you going to say?
Nothing.
No, what were you going to say? Tell us.
I'm literally going to. Stop. Yo, cut the shit. I swear to God, I'll slap the shit out of you.
It's so weird. We just always finish each other's sentences.
Don't come near me with your hand. I don't want to hold your fucking hand.
Love you. So tarot cards or rune stones, she uses the asparagus as tools for divination. And for our Muggle listeners, divination is a practice or activity somebody would use to predict the future, see into the future, or how do I say? I don't even or just interpret certain things. Reading tea leaves would be another form. of divination, or scrying. Do you know what scrying is?
I feel like I could figure it out.
It's like, you know, when you see like the stereotypical fortune teller or psychic and she has like a crystal ball. So scrying would be the act of, it's like a form of divination where you look into the crystal ball, you see, you don't like see like it doesn't play like a fucking movie, but like you see pieces like projected into the reflections, the shapes. I know sometimes some people use like even smoke, like incense smoke you can use in divination, but like you piece together the clues to interpret, basically. So it's not as straightforward as looking into a crystal ball and seeing a fucking movie playback. But that's scrying. Also, Black Mirrors, not the show, but like Black Mirrors is like a mirror that's like painted black that people look into and they see. That's a form of scrying. So it's like another form of divination. How did we get in here? I don't know. Asparagus.
Yeah, what? That's really...
But yeah, basically, you know, with runestones, you like toss them down the way that they lay in the position that they're in,
right.
What they're in close proximity to, what's upside down, what's like face up. It's divination. So if you want to find out, basically, if your man's is cheating, go ahead on down to Instagram
and look at his likes, and you can find out right there.
Oh, or I was gonna say, go ahead on down to the farmer's market, get yourself some non-GMO organic asparagus. Fucking toss that shit up and see what's good. But if you do go, just make sure you bring your own bags, because we only have one planet, and the vegan hipsters will judge you. They won't say anything, but when you ask for paper and plastic, you will feel it. They're eco-friendly daggers in their eyes, which are probably made from recycled plastic. So Jemima Packington, otherwise known as the Asparamancer or Mystic Veg, also my porn star name, Mystic Veg.
I love it.
Google image. So she's been throwing asparagus leaves into the air and interpreting the way that they land to predict the future. She has been dubbed the ambassador for the Vale Grass in the Vale of Evesham, and she now lives in Bath. This is the UK.
I live in Bath.
I'm going to live in a Bath. So she claims that she may have inherited her psychic powers from her great aunt, who would read tea leaves.
Oh.
However, her unusual methodology came from her dislike of tea and her lack of success with broccoli.
LOL.
You and me both, girl. Always an overcooked broccoli or a burnt ass mac and cheese batch, which I have upstairs. Wait, I was reading an article and it says she prefers English asparagus, especially spears from the Vale of Evesham in Worcestershire. It literally sounds like a plug. Skeptical.
Really on the plug. Really on the...
So she claims that 80 to 90% of her predictions are accurate, which is a pretty ballsy claim to make about yourself. But she says, it's a great honor to be associated with it, and it is great fun. I do it because I enjoy doing it. Can you imagine if she like did it and she hated doing it? All of her girlfriends are like, all right, guys, like, what do you want for dinner? I'm thinking of like Sex in the City. And they're just like, all right, what do you want? And she's like the Miranda. And she's like, oh, fine, guys. Like, I'll go get the fucking asparagus. She scuttles inside to go get her fucking asparagus. And fucking
you're really into this.
Tina's in the background wearing a turtleneck. Tina? Exactly, her friend. And she's just like, no one's making you do this, Jemima. But then like fucking Carrie's just like, all right, just like let her do it. She needs to get out of her system. So here she comes with her asparagus.
Are you good?
No. I've been cooped up in my house for too long. She added that she does readings for people up to 50 a day at the British Asparagus Festival. I'd love to make it to that, maybe next year. She often gets repeat business from people who she saw in the previous years, who her forecasts were accurate, blah, blah, blah. So here are her predictions that she says came true. So it's documented that she predicted the Brexit in 2016, which was when the UK withdrew from the European Union. A lot of people kind of predicted that because it was I'm just going to keep that to myself. She said that sometime in 2017, Prince Harry was going to have a very important announcement. And obviously he is engaged to Meghan Markle. But like, I feel like people were skeptical of that. She also said that one summer will change the drought to downpours. And Britain actually had the 11th rainiest summer on record with Storm Eleanor which came into the UK. She also said the USA will be seen as a pariah under Donald Trump. Honey, we all saw that shit coming.
Right.
She also said Andy Murray would win the Wimbledon, which she predicted that to happen in 2016, but he had already won at some point, I think in 2013, maybe 2012, and he had a pretty good chance of winning in 2017 or 2016. So not saying she didn't predict it, but a lot of people could have said a lot of things. She also said that Gordon Brown would lose the 2010 general election and ultimately leave politics, which, came to fruition. Also, she said a showbiz couple regarded as national treasures would announce their divorce, and after 19 years of marriage, Jamie and Louise Redknapp, they divorced in December, and that statement is vague as hell. Also, who the hell are they? He's a soccer player or a football player.
Who the hell are you?
And I think she's a singer, but that's such a vague statement. She's like, a celebrity couple is gonna break up. Woo.
And then asparagus.
And then like a celebrity couple, national treasures. Were they national treasures? Maybe in the UK. And her other prediction was that many sporting scandals and stories would emerge with very high profile figures falling from grace. Fucking obviously, Jemima.
Yikes, why are you coming for her?
I don't know. I'm just not, it just sounds. Okay, hold on. Here are her predictions for 2018. Am I really coming for her? It does sound that way, doesn't it?
I'm just let you do the predictions and then to have your little comments, and then I'm going to eye you every time I think you're coming for her. Go ahead.
So her predictions for 2018, she says that the Bitcoin bubble will burst. Possible. She also says the U.S. will bring the world to the brink of serious conflict.
I think it already happened.
She said no major sporting achievements for the UK's national teams. Sorry about that, you guys. She said there was going to be a resurgence of a book, and it was going to be put into cyber libraries and video games. So maybe we'll have the Tequila Mockingbird VR video game that we've all been waiting for. Did I say Tequila Mockingbird?
You sure did.
Fucking Tequila Mockingbird. I swear to God, I haven't even had a drop of alcohol today.
That's a lie.
No.
Are we not?
No, but like sometimes when I'm lying and I don't know what to say, I just sing. She said Theresa May will be ousted and Britain will get a new prime minister. So I'm not knocking her or anything, but I'm 100% skeptical. Honestly, I just feel like all this, because every publication that she does is like trying to get people to come to the Asparagus Festival. Literally.
I'm sorry, that's like a little bit funny.
Yeah, it's fucking like, we get it, you're vegan.
Yikes, you're
everything
coming for vegans and all.
Listen, I wouldn't buy that shit if it was on sale at Saks Fifth Avenue. That she's
Asparagus Festival?
Yeah. No, not the Asparagus Festival, but the fact that she's trying to tell people that she's a psychic. Listen, if you're listening to this, sweetie, you keep shining. Know that you can't always count on me. For sure. We gotta cut it.
You need to cut it.
No, but everything was pretty generic. Again, it's about politics and, shit that you could probably find out in a farmer's almanac. Maybe I'll be a psychic. I'll toss my salad.
Let's do it.
I'll become the tossing salad psychic. Do you think it's weird that you toss a salad with tongs?
No, what would you?
And then you toss a salad with tongues? Is this getting weird? Yeah, interesting. So that's the asparagus girl. So can I just tell my personal psychic stories? I wish I would have written them all down when they happened.
Don't worry, I got you. Go.
I don't think I'm psychic, so I'm not making that claim.
Yes, he is.
But these are just strange things that literally don't mean anything. But okay, so one time, this was a couple years ago, I had a very, very horrifying specific dream that I was standing on like a highway and there was this giant fucking airplane, and the way that it flew down, it looked like it was going to land, and then it just went right back up, and then it turned on its side, and then it just crashed down. So I woke up in the middle of the night and something told me to write it down. So I didn't write it down. I put it in my phone on my notes. That morning, I am sitting watching the news with my father, and I watch a news clip that was taken from the dashboard of a police car that was pulled over on the side of a highway and I think this was in like Germany or something. And a plane, it was a cargo plane. It flew down close to the highway and it went back up exactly how I saw it in my head.
Premonition.
And then it crashed. I was speechless. I pulled out my phone and I showed my dad. And my dad's super skeptical.
He's like, you gonna stop.
Okay, but he agreed that it was fucking weird. The time that I put it in my phone was an hour before it actually happened.
Ew.
So I remember I woke up, it was like 2:00 something, and it happened at like 3:00 something.
No.
So that was weird. I knew my cousin was pregnant literally out of nowhere. Like I hadn't really connected with her or anything. And I was out to dinner with my parents and they like looked at me and I don't know what they said. They brought something up and I was just like, she's pregnant. And I knew. I just knew.
Look at you, little clairvoyant little daughter.
Okay, so this wouldn't even be like psychic, but this was just weird. So my friend Kelly, hey Kelly, she lives in Illinois and she came out last May. This was the day that we all went out.
Maypool.
Jesus, cheese and rice. She came out and we go to this bar in Philadelphia. It's called Bob and Barbara's, and basically their shtick is like PBR everything. They have a sign on the wall that says like they had the most PBR sold in that location than anywhere in the world in 2012.
Nope.
So like PBR is their big thing. So we go home later that night and we're in Wegmans because I had to pick up shampoo or some shit. And this thought comes to my head. Do you remember that video? It was a long ass time ago. It was like this little kid. I think it was a little boy or a little girl. Has a weird like bowl haircut. And the mom is saying like, he kept saying, kick my ass. The monster's going to come in here and kick my ass.
Oh, yeah.
I just like randomly started quoting that and I thought it was funny. She was like, wow, that's so random. I remember that video. Haha, LOL. So we go home and we're watching Willem Belli has this YouTube series called Willem's Beatdown where basically he watches viral videos and like makes fun of them. So not only do we turn it on, he's wearing this is the same day. He's wearing a shirt that says Bob and Barbara's and it's in the PBR text. And then the very first video he reviews is that video I was talking about, the
Ew.
kick my ass. Like what? I don't even think that's psychic. That's just like weird ass coincidences. But like, can I just be fucking psychic for something useful? And I remember one time I was in high school, I was on my way home. I remember getting off the bus and I just like my stomach dropped the second my foot touched the pavement, like walking towards my house. I was like, oh fuck, like something feels awful. I get into my house. The second I get into my house, I'm like grounded for going over our text messages because I only had 250 texts a month. Do you remember those days?
I remember.
Fucking free minutes on weekends. Yeah. So there's that.
Don't forget about that time that you predicted Kiko and her job.
Oh, yeah, we won't say that. Oh, and then the day I sent it to her, something happened at my job. That was literally what I had already written. What I just told you upstairs. I wrote a script and things that were in the script started happening IRL. And I really hope... I told Kiko...
It's so crazy because Jonathan never predicts my life.
Because you're unpredictable. Yo,
Yeah,
unpredictable. Oh, it's
my
unbelievable.
life is like not... Okay.
It's okay. Do you have a fun fact or
No, I
a
have the
tweet of
tweet.
the week? Did you do a fun fact also?
I did.
Oh.
I thought it was one or the other.
Oh. I thought we would do both. So I have both. But go ahead. So this is a new thing we thought we would do. It's called Tweet of the Week.
So I don't know, for those of you who know / don't know, they're trying to sign LeBron James to the Sixers. And I saw a tweet that I thought was so funny. It's him looking at a phone, and then it's another picture of the word John. And it's so funny. For those of you who aren't familiar, John is like a really, really Philly word. So I just thought it was really funny.
You're just like explaining a meme. Like you saw a meme that's funny and you're just like explaining it. That's funny.
Week. I mean, that was like...
Meme of the week, I'll take it.
Okay.
But John means like anything.
Yeah.
That John.
Right. But it's funny because they're basically saying like he's preparing
to go to...
Yeah.
That's funny. Okay, so my tweet of the week is, to receive good, you must be on the goodness frequency. Think good thoughts, speak good words, take good actions. That is from at Law of Attraction, February 19th, 2018 at 5:02 a.m. What was I doing up that time? Looking at the Law of Attraction. I also have a fun fact. Are you ready for this?
I'm Rhett.
I feel like I've literally just been like blabbing my mouth hole. But
Welcome, same.
But I guess if we didn't say anything, you would just be sitting here with headphones in, pretending you're working. Like I'm sure you're doing right now. Hey, you listening?
Listen.
You're not typing real things. Backspace. Backspace said that was stupid. You're not even typing a real email. Your boss is coming. Quick, pull up a new window.
Me.
So my fun fact is, you know how asparagus makes your pee smell?
Yeah. Does it really though?
Yeah. Have you not had smelly asparagus pee?
No.
Oh, okay. So this is awkward. Just kidding. So the smell is thought to be the result from the metabolism of asparagic acid found in asparagus into other sulfur-containing compounds such as unpronounceable methanolfluoride.
Yep.
And basically, it's a chemical and it's volatile, which means that it has a very low boiling point and it can vaporize and enter a gaseous state at room temperature. So basically, when you pee, it just smells more because it's like vaporizing and bringing that piss stink right up to your little schnoz.
That's nasty as fuck.
Now, you can go ahead and tell your ugly friends that. And you learned it here. And if they want to know where you learned it, just be like, here, go ahead and follow them on Instagram at Esoteric Oddities. And if you want, you can follow them on Twitter, Esoteric Oddity, ODDITIE. Or if you want, you can email them at odditiespodcast@gmail.com.
Follow us.
You can
Follow us.
Go ahead and support the show at
Follow
patreon.com. Can I fucking talk?
No.
Literally, I've been like talking for like 20
Can I
minutes.
fucking talk?
Patreon.com/Esoteric Oddities. Thank you to those who support. We really appreciate it. You guys are sexy. I will be mailing my nudes. I'm not going to do that. I'm totally just kidding. Maybe.
I'll mail mine $50 a pop. Yikes. All right, I gotta go.
Do something nice for somebody else this week. And love yourself.
Love yourself unconditionally, even after all the mistakes you think you made. Just keep holding on to yourself.
Like Sarah's hair, unconditioned.
Wow, unconditioned. It was conditioned, and I told you it.
I
was
don't
the
want to
win.
hear it. Bye.
Bye.